André, how you doing, mate?
I am very good. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Not too bad. It's a hot day.
It's a very hot day. I'm sweating.
No, and we have a very special guest with us today.
Yes, this was a long time coming.
It was indeed.
Michelle, welcome to the podcast.
Michelle at ByJove Media.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. Very excited to come on today.
Well, no, hey, look, we're super excited to have you, right? So, you're a social media guru. You've won awards. You've won awards that say that you're the most influential woman in social media in the UK.
Yes,
which is very scary.
I was, right? 1 year. Be careful what you say today.
You could basically just sink us today. You can just tank us.
Yes. Yeah.
And no, that's it. I will be kind of blacklisted from every social media platform. Unless we ask the right questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, unless you ask the right questions.
Good thing we did bring the questions.
Yes. we totally prepared, right, André?
As always.
You got the list right.
I just can't read it. But we got the list.
Fantastic. Yeah, I trusted the right guy with that, right?
Yeah,
good.
Exactly.
Good. Excellent. Well, but thank you so much for being here today, in all seriousness. And so, look, we start every podcast, Michelle, by asking just about your backstory. So what is it that led you to ByJove Media? Give us that nice meaty beginning, middle and end.
Oh, that nice meaty beginning, middle and end. Well, I got a job in an estate agency, not selling houses as an estate agent. I always add that very quickly in the beginning. I'm not sure why I feel the need to caveat it in that way, but I was not an estate agent.
Estate agents are fine though, right?
They're all good. Yeah. I love them. I work with one. I love estate agents. All very good. But started off working for them just on a Saturday, and then that evolved into a couple of days a week. They said this thing called Twitter's starting to really take off now. Look where that is now. And Facebook just let businesses set up Facebook pages. So they said perhaps you could faff with the social media, and they were their exact words, faff with the social media. Fast forward a little bit and I went, this has huge potential to reach lots of people. We won an award for our social media. I was in the local paper, very exciting. And we were then listed in the Zoopla Property Power 100. They launched the top 100 estate agents in the UK on social media. And I remember we knew the list was coming out and I was sitting in bed at 7 o'clock in the morning, scrolling through the list going, we're not on the list. My boss is really not going to be happy. Scroll back up to the top and went, we're number 5 with Hamptons and Knight Frank and all the big boys, and went, we're really happy with that. That was in the local paper, and people went, oh, you kind of know what you're doing with social media. Could we have some training? So that brought in a qualification I'd had years before in training. Started training. People went, we love the training. We don't want to do the social media. So I started to build a bank of retained clients, and that evolved into leaving the estate agents and setting up ByJove Media. And now lots of people see me and go, by Jove, it's Michelle.
There it is.
So there it is. But that came from, I used to go to my granddad's on a Saturday and watch a lot of old black and white films with him. And it was all very much, tell it here, chaps, by Jove. And that's where ByJove came from. So, and now I have it quoted back to me frequently. By Jove, it's Michelle. By Jove.
Yeah, so you're never going to lose that now.
I'm never going to rebrand and change the name.
No, please don't do that. Oh my God, can you imagine?
It would be awful. People would not know what to say to me anymore. It's Michelle.
It's just Michelle.
It's just Michelle. Or they would start singing the Beatles song, which again I get a lot as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because I've never heard that before.
Yeah. No.
Never. I did not know the Beatles wrote a song called Michelle.
I was going to start singing it as well. And
you wanted to go there, didn't you? You really wanted to go there. Yeah.
Right. Well, this is over now. So we're done.
We're done.
My eggs in the hole gone. Excellent.
Question for you.
Yes.
Obviously, you said back then it sounds, and I will ask you this question as well a bit later on, because you did mention before in previous conversations about a little incident that you had. But obviously nowadays we all know that social media is so important for businesses and anyone really trying to build an audience. But back then, when Twitter was just starting out and Facebook launched those Facebook pages for businesses, how did you go from this is interesting to this has potential? What was that moment that clicked for you?
I think it's when we were tracking through the website traffic that came from social media through to the website, and we could see the traffic was immeasurably increasing, really skyrocketing. But we could also compare how much traffic was coming from Rightmove, which isn't a cheap platform for estate agents, and our social media at one point was driving more traffic than Rightmove was to our website. So you could start to measure how popular that was becoming. People were really embracing social media. You were starting to see people chatting, sharing things. And actually back then, it was a lot easier to grow quickly. Organic growth was super easy to do, whereas now it's a little bit of pay to play. If you want to grow, you're going to have to probably pay a little bit of money to those platforms to grow at the type of kind of rate we saw back in the good old days. You could set up an account, you could have several hundred followers by the end of the week. That can take a little bit more time now. Yeah.
I think it's just about having that patience, isn't it? Patience to wait and play the game, because that's exactly what it is now. It's a game that you need to play, and I feel like for most businesses nowadays, it's how do you manage all of that? Because you're trying to run your own business, you're trying to get some more leads in, you're trying to deliver the projects that you need to deliver, but then you now need to fit in because it's so big now. If you don't have social media, you kind of, what are you doing? It is a bit like that, isn't it?
It is like that, and you're seeing Gen Z and millennials are starting to use social search a lot more. So we've got 70% of Gen Z will go to Instagram or TikTok to search rather than Google. 40% of your millennials will go and search on Instagram or TikTok rather than do that. So you have to be in it to win it. And people come to me and say, oh, Michelle, we need to fight the algorithms, or the algorithms are suppressing our content. And actually, if you dial it back and go, what does my audience want? What will they engage with? If you create content that they love, that they engage with, it will naturally get shown to more people. So you want to work with those algorithms rather than thinking, we're going to fight them. It's about working with it and going, what does our audience want? How do we add value to them? Because it's social networking, it's not social selling. You go on to educate, be entertained. You're not looking credit card in hand to buy something or sit there and book something. You want to know, like, trust, build a relationship with those companies, those brands. And they're the businesses that do really well, that have that unique voice, producing content people want to see. It naturally happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that you just mentioned there, which building that brand on social media is, I think, a trap that, I definitely fell into this right at the beginning when I'm trying to just make a footprint of not understanding that really it's consistency that's key. Because what you see in front of us all the time is oh, here's a new viral thing, or here's a new trend, or here's this. And without realizing it, you can sabotage yourself if you're not jumping on the trend necessarily, but thinking that you have to just completely be so adept and agile at moving with everything that's going on at the same time that actually someone looks at your social media, they just see a bit of a mess or a bit of an incoherence to it. And actually what I'm finding now, and it is paying dividends, is that whole actually, let's have a message that's consistent. Let's have a method of delivering something that's consistent. And then the people who like that will gravitate towards it. People who don't, okay, fine. Well, actually, I think that's a great thing, because you know that you're not into that. I know that you're not into that. Cool. We save each other a lot of time.
So, you want to attract the right people to you.
Exactly. Yeah. But so, what are you finding then, I guess, with all the clients that you might have maybe this is a broad question, but what do you find is the things that businesses maybe are making mistakes with commonly, or little tidbits of advice that can really kind of help people just to steady the ship and move in a really positive direction?
So I think you hit the nail on the head with trend chasing. It's not about trend chasing. It's about audience building, familiarity, building that know, like, trust. And sometimes people come and say, oh, this is trending really well at the moment, we should jump on that. And it's like, but does that serve you? Does that serve your audience? Just because it's National Pie Day doesn't mean we have to be juggling with pies. Actually, let's dial that back and look at something that's going to build a better relationship.
I'm going to start taking notes.
Ignore National Pie Day. No National Pie Day.
Blueberry pie?
No juggling pies. And sometimes you have to look at the return on investment with it, that it's going to take you, 3 hours to do pie juggling. Is that going to be worth it in the longer term? And some people think, do you know what, we've got to consistently pump out content. It's got to be going out every single day. Actually, 2 or 3 really high quality posts a week that resonate with your audience is much better than diluted content you're pumping out every single day. Yeah. But building that unique voice, not being afraid to appear in front of the camera or even have your voice on the camera, because people buy people. They like to feel there's somebody behind that brand. One of my best clients has a very unique voice, and people love that unique voice. If you don't answer the messages, the private messages with unique voice, you get, oh, I was disappointed that you didn't speak to me like that. I wanted that. So you almost have to stay in that character the whole time and be that particular brand. So I'm always like, I do compare going viral, because a lot of people are like, we need to go viral. I'm like, well, going viral is a bit like a one night stand versus a long-term relationship. We don't really want to go viral because that's the one night stand. We want that longer term relationship.
No, we don't go viral.
No, we don't want to go viral. You want that longer term, taking those people on that journey, because I guess, I mean, the three of us here, we don't run businesses that people need every single day of the week. Sure. It's taking people on that journey. So when they need you, there you are. And there's, I would say, a lot of businesses out there like that. It's not something you need every single day. Even a shop, you're not going to buy from every single day. But if you're interesting enough and relevant enough to stay in their feed and they love what you do, you're going to stay in the feed. And at the right point, they're going to spend the money with you. They're going to book your services.
Excellent. And I guess to completely go against what we've just been talking about, what trends are you seeing? and I mean that in the kind of not, I don't mean the viral trends or like the trend chasing thing, but what trends are you seeing that actually would be worth taking note of in a broader sense?
So I hate the word at the moment because everybody is using it, but it's all about authenticity is really key. And that's putting your people front and centre, or yourself front and centre, bringing that forward, but also really thinking about how you've constructed the words to go with the amazing image that perhaps you've taken, the amazing video that you've done, and thinking, how are we going to write that? Because we need to write that to hook our audience in, to engage them, but we also now really need to write it for the algorithm, because you look at Instagram, they're rewriting their whole search function to study what words you've written, what the comments are saying. So it's building all of that in the right way. So in terms of trends, I would say, hate to say it, authenticity, but also really carefully thinking about the words that go with your visuals as well. They're both equally as important.
I mean, have you seen that go wrong? I mean, have you seen it where, I mean, one of the things about authenticity is vulnerability, right? So, and a lot of ways that organizations and even businesses to consumers, business build trust is that kind of, you know, can I show a vulnerability that, you know, as actually, hey, look, I'm wearing this on my sleeve. I'm trusting you not to use that against me. That's how we build it. Have you seen that go wrong? Have you seen it go in a way that actually this authenticity, whilst being authentic, has possibly been harmful?
I think you always do. There's always brands that put it out there and perhaps get it wrong, and it's then dialing it back and actually being big enough to say, do you know what? We did that. We got it wrong. It didn't resonate with you. We apologise for that. This is what we're going to do moving forwards. A lot of that happens where people are virtue signalling. So June, for example, it's Pride Month. You will get a lot of businesses going, it's Pride, we have to do something for Pride. But if actually those values aren't baked into your business, you will get people calling you out and saying, hang on a minute, you're talking about this, but we know from personal experience that doesn't align with real life. You're just virtue signalling. So a lot of that can really backfire on people, and they've had to dial it back and apologise. The ones that bury their heads in the sand and go, no, we're virtue signalled, that's amazing, tick in the box, that's when they start to lose followers and the tide starts to turn against them.
And I think we see that happening so many times recently as well with, you know, maybe we shouldn't name, but with Ryanair, we had that incident. And it's just about, like you said, it's about dialing it in. And I feel like more and more, and I keep talking about this, of how, you know, I speak to businesses and they want this high polished video for their, like a promo video for them, and I always say to them, well, have you thought about actually just getting some of your clients to do testimonial videos where it's a little bit less scripted, or where you interview some of your clients? And that's kind of like an article I wrote this week as well, because I find that is what's actually getting a lot of engagement. It's that, again, authenticity, but then the social proof as well, the trust, you building that trust and you hearing your clients talking about your business, and then your future clients see those videos or see that work that you've done. And and they resonate with that, they can relate to. But I'm finding it so difficult to just get that message across. Like, get some testimonials done, get some real humans involved in your content, because that will create a lot of engagement. What is your answer to businesses that are a bit on the fence with that?
You do get a lot of businesses on the fence with it, going, well, either we haven't got anybody within the business that wants to do it, or we're not sure about putting the clients on there and actually making the effort to get the clients to sit down and do those testimonials. I would always approach it from here are some case studies. Here's where we've done it. It's been really successful. It's worked really well. You could replicate that. So if you can show the value it's adding, the benefit it's bringing, I would say 95% of business owners are going to go, I can see that business case. I can see what you've done there. I actually want to do that. So if you can provide the examples, sometimes it's easier for people to see it than it is when you explain it as an idea. So I've always got those facts, those figures, those case studies. Look at this, they've done it. It's worked really, really well. Mm-hmm. But it's in that kind of ever more increasing AI world, people want to connect. They want that empathy. They want people to resonate them. They want, you did that for them. You could do that for me. That would be amazing. So it is bringing that front and centre. And even if they can't, it's animating perhaps some of the testimonies, bringing the words in across the scene with a video of the business, for example, somebody at the desk, but you bring in the words of the testimonial if you haven't got somebody that wants to appear on screen with it. Mm-hmm. But I would say back it up with facts, figures, case studies.
That's exactly. And obviously for a business owner to see and to obviously make a decision on that investment, they do need to see proof as well, don't they? And it's funny that you touched upon AI. Mm-hmm. We had a big conversation.
Yeah. We are now experts.
We know experts.
You spoke to Philip, didn't you? If you spoke to Philip, you are experts.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely right.
He just sat there and kind of did that knowledge transfer to you, didn't he?
He just sat there and all of a sudden,
upgrade over this slightly patchy Wi-Fi, but I got there in the end.
But more and more, obviously, companies are using AI, obviously, to streamline some of their processes, to post on social media, etc., etc. How are we combating? Because obviously, people are craving now that human touch, that human interaction. How do businesses navigate that now, especially on social media?
So with the AI, that's where you have to train it to sound like you. You can use the AI. I think Philip and I always talk about working smarter, not harder. So if you've given the AI your voice, your branding, it knows how you sound. And you're not just going, I'm just going to let it do whatever it wants and post whatever it wants. As long as you do have that human check, that human intervention, and you're reading it through going, would we actually say that? Yeah. Does that sound like us? Then it might get you 90% of the way there. You might have to do a 10% tweak on that copy, but it can be a really good starter for 10. It can be very good for brainstorming. It can give you lots of ideas. It can say, you want to do a carousel post. This is the text that you want each one. You could then use some graphics AI to put that carousel together. It's going to save you a lot of time, but I think you still need those human eyeballs on it to go, it sounds like us. People are going to look at that and go, yeah, that sounds like them. Mm-hmm. But that's training your AI to be smart. So I would never say don't use it. I think absolutely use it, but it still needs those human eyeballs on it to go, it sounds like us. And to remove those M dashes. You've got to remove those M dashes.
Stop
got to remove those M dashes. Philip and I did a course on AI, and we did these are the giveaways. That's and you scroll through LinkedIn, and you're like AI, and you then have that psychological disconnect. Because I'm like, normally I would like your post, but I know you've used AI to write it. You've not put any effort into that. Full of M dashes. It looks like the emojis have been vomited onto it. It says whether this or that, and you go, no, I can't engage with it. I can't engage with it.
And it's so identifiable, isn't it? Yeah. You can just see it straight away.
Yeah, but actually, there's new accessibility guidelines coming in. So for people with screen readers and things like that, they're saying you need to, moving forwards, right in line with this new legislation coming in. So you're going to have to train your AI on that legislation so that you meet the requirements, which are around emojis and spacing and how things are done. So I think that's quite interesting. It's coming in, and AI is going to have to rethink how it uses those emojis and what it does. I know my son was delighted when he found out that there are bits of kit that read out your emojis to you. because I think I received a text in the car because the car reads out the texts and it was poo emoji, poo emoji, poo emoji. I'm like, amazing.
Are you trying to tell me you have a tummy bug? What are you saying?
No, just hilarious that the car has to read out the emojis to me. So that wore off really quickly. I'd see I had a text in the car. I'm like, I'm not pressing read because I'm giving somebody a lift and I know what that's going to say. So, but yeah, it's looking at it and going, we've got to train the AI adequately to sound like us, to sound human.
Absolutely. Yeah. And now obviously doing a bit of a turn on the conversation. Obviously we talked about social media, your achievements so far. We are going to talk about something else really exciting in a minute as well. But I want to understand a little bit more about your onboarding process. How do business reach out? What's your first steps when you interact with a new client or potential new client?
So I'd say all of my work generally comes through word of mouth and recommendation. That's a really interesting one because people will say, I've spoken to so-and-so, they suddenly need to talk to you about social media. And that's a really nice intro because you're already halfway there because somebody's made that introduction. They've made that recommendation for you. I always have a look at what they're currently doing or not doing on social media. Quite often they're not doing anything. But I spend a lot of time getting to know a business or a business owner so that I can very confidently step into those shoes on social media because you can't have every single client sounding the same.
Yeah.
You have to have that unique voice. And I think somebody said to me before, do you think you're a little bit schizophrenic? I'm like, okay, maybe that's my onboarding secret is my schizophrenic side comes out because I can be an accountant in the morning and a medieval knight in the afternoon and a restaurateur in the evening. So, but I love that variety.
There's probably somebody out there listening going, I am all of those things.
Yes, I am all of those things. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Whilst sorting out their accounts.
Yes, I've got my chef hat on whilst jousting and using the calculator as well. But I think I really get to grips with understanding their business and what they want to achieve. I spent 12 years working in a corporate pensions company. So I've got corporate experience with working with a very big business. And then I worked with a small independent family-run business. So I don't just bring the social media knowledge to the table, I'm bringing business experience to the table. So it's looking at the business goals, what you want to achieve, and then making sure the social media goals and what we're going to do will align with that. And as part of the process, I do sometimes turn around to people and say, outsourcing your social media isn't the right thing to do. You need to be doing it yourself, either because you are your business or your business is so specialist an outsourcing person is not going to do it justice. I won't take a client for the sake of taking a client and going, 3 posts a week's what you need, LinkedIn, Instagram, job done. It's more about saying, actually, let's look at your business. What does it need and who needs to be doing that? So sometimes I work alongside a business, more in like a social media coaching capacity for them to do their social media, but they have me on hand as a resource to talk to and run ideas past. And sometimes that's really critical when they go, we've had an amazing idea. I'm like, okay, well, let's look at the return on investment. Let's look at if it meets the business goals and actually, really importantly, you're going to get your LinkedIn account shut down because it breaks every single rule on LinkedIn. So sometimes having me in the back pocket is a good thing because I'll go, no, for goodness sake, please don't do that because everything will get shut down. So that works well. But yeah, it's working out what the business is, what their goals are, what they sound like, and whether they should be outsourcing or not.
And you also, because I imagine you meet plenty of clients who are all sorts of ends of the spectrum in terms of how established they are with their social media to people who are really just trying to get to grips with things they maybe thought they didn't need to and are really just trying to understand this. But you also do power hours, don't you? You also have this facility. So tell us about that. Yeah.
So the power hours really started when I had people say, now, I've gone completely wrong with my social media. I had a problem. I Googled it. I did what Google told me to do. And it didn't work, and now please can we sort it all out? And I'm like, okay, I'd much rather you'd come and ask me first because we wouldn't have done what Google told you to do, and I wouldn't now be looking at a complete and utter mess that's going to be a nightmare to sort out. So it started off as a bit of a problem-solving exercise. Rather than Google, come and talk to me. I'll give you the most up-to-date piece of information because you never know how right that YouTube video is or that Google answer is. And then people would say to me, actually, do you know what? I get what I'm doing, but I really don't understand those reel things on Instagram. What are they? How do I do them? So, okay, well, we could do a power hour on reels. So now it's very much 60 minutes of Michelle's time to do whatever you want to do. Within reason, obviously. That sounds a little bit wrong. 60 minutes, Michelle. I'll have a power hour, Michelle. But we do anything really, from social media strategy to content planning to getting to grips with reels. I had somebody from a very large household name ring me a while back and say, a friend of mine had LinkedIn training through her company from you. She says you're very good. We were chatting at the pub the other night. I actually need to make an exit plan from where I am, and they were head of a very big department. Sure. Can I have a LinkedIn power hour? Because I've never done LinkedIn. I've never needed to. But now I need to be found by the recruiters, by the right people. Can you help me take my LinkedIn up a notch? So I had a really interesting hour with them, helped them increase their presence on LinkedIn. And I then had a phone call 3 days later from another head of to say, you spoke to my friend last week. They're really raving about you. I need to do my exit strategy. And I actually did 5 heads of within this household name, kind of passed around as they were all planning their exit strategy. To be fair, they'd merged with another company. So they knew they weren't going to have 2 heads of. So they were doing actually, what job do I want? I want to make sure I'm really attractive for that particular role moving forward, rather than wait for the axe to fall.
But that shows just how impactful it is, though, right? Yeah. So if you're managing that hour to really, give someone who is a little bit lost or trying to do the YouTube video thing or do the Google searching and just getting bombarded with 10,000 different ways they should be doing something, actually focusing it in with you. What do I need to do? How can I make this work for me? The LinkedIn example you give is a great one because more and more LinkedIn is becoming very, very important. It already is, but for people who are looking to recruit or be recruited in certain industries, it's only LinkedIn in some places. So, so if you're stuck on that, you are massively disadvantaged. But to be able to just have an hour with you and go, oh, okay, now I have a strategy just from this. And clearly it worked in terms of them spreading that around and saying, this is definitely helping us here. That's a really amazing thing that you offer.
Yes,
fantastic.
And I love doing the power hours because you see those light bulbs literally going off in people's heads. And I'm like, that's amazing. You're walking away now able to do something you couldn't do before, or that's going to help you with your career and help you progress to a new job. I'm really excited to do that. I've had 16-year-olds come on my LinkedIn training and then look at some of the work that they've done on LinkedIn and the opportunities they've had. And I'm really proud of them that they've embraced that and done that. I think my son's 16. He's listened to so many of my LinkedIn trainings. On lockdown, he was kind of like, oh, LinkedIn again. Yeah. But the other day I said, have you looked at my LinkedIn profile? I looked at it, I'm like, you listened. I'm a very proud mum. You've got a really good LinkedIn profile. And here's my invoice for that. here's mum's invoice for that. I've helped
it wasn't just make dinner for a week. That wasn't.
No. There was an actual invoice involved with that. Yeah, because I've done Instagram training as well with him. And he's like, you actually know what you're talking about. My views have gone from this to this. I'm like, hey, who knew? Who knew I know how Instagram works. So that was, I think that was like my biggest compliment ever. I was like, could you write me a testimonial? And then I'll put age 16 at the bottom of it that I helped you with your Instagram. I'm really, really proud of that.
But that says a lot. And obviously we're talking about how to keep up to date and things and how you are really good at just keeping up with the trends. But you do a lot of work behind the scenes to just be able to be on that level consistently. So you're not just offering a power hour just because you've been doing social media for X amount of years. You're doing a power hour because you travel everywhere to go to seminars. We were just talking about that. And a couple of weeks ago you went to America where you just spent a couple of weeks there, doing some training. So you do invest a lot of your time in training and finding out and keeping up to date. How do you manage that all?
I did say you're lucky to catch me in the country. Yes, lucky to catch me in the country. So yes, I went to Social Media Marketing World in San Diego, which is kind of the pinnacle of social media conferences. I went to Social Day in London for 3 days, which again, top of their game with social media. Somebody said to me, I think I said to you a little while back, somebody said, are you not too old to be working in social media? I think once I got over I'm a little bit offended.
I'm just going to say a knife out of my chest now.
Wow.
Hemorrhage all over the floor. But
aren't you too old to be working in social media? I'm like, right, I need to increase the Botox, the hair dye. Yeah, that's fine. I was like, actually, I kind of stepped back and looked at it and went, what am I bringing to the table? So rather than somebody who, I can do a viral dance on TikTok, I've got that corporate experience, I've got that independent business experience, but I'm staying so up to date at the top of my game I will go to the creme de la creme of the social media conferences. But again, I have laptop, will travel, as long as I've got Wi-Fi and signal, I can work. So you will find me at conference, but then over lunch, I will be checking up on things. On the plane, I'll be getting things ready. So, and I love what I do. So it doesn't necessarily feel like working. I get to meet amazing people on my travels at the conferences. Some of the Americans that I met were absolutely fabulous, and I'm still in touch with them and watching what they're doing in social media in the States. So,
and you had some of your work showcased there, didn't you?
Yeah. I did. Yes. I did. That was like social media bucket list for me. Mari Smith, she's the absolute queen of Facebook. I have followed her for such a long time. She's worked with Meta. She's phenomenal. And I went to her speech at Social Media Marketing World. She had the biggest room for the speech. I was like, out of the 5 that I'm going to go to, which do I go to? I'll go to Mari's at 12 o'clock. And I was sitting there, I'm going to talk you through some accounts that are doing things well. And then the ByJove Media logo popped up on the screen. And I was like, that's my logo. And then my face popped up on the screen. I'm like, wow. And then some of my reels, and she played them. So then she finished and she went, I do love the name ByJove. And she went, actually, I think Michelle might be at conference. Is Michelle in the room? And I was literally...
ByJove, we've done it!
And I had just taken a picture of her slides because she had a big screen either side and her in the middle. So I'd taken a picture and put it on the family WhatsApp group going, I can't believe Mari's featured me. And they were coming, I'm so proud of you, Mum. So I stood up and went, I'm over it. She went, no, stand up and wave at everyone. So I had a picture taken with her afterwards. And then people come up to me in the corridor and going, we saw you in Mari's talk. Can we have a photo? I'm like, yeah, okay. So I did loads of selfies, but it was a lot of fun, and actually really good for business because I came back to, will you speak at an event for us in September? We saw what happened at Social Media Marketing World and more business coming through as a result. Fantastic. So that was incredible. I will be forever grateful to Mari for that. But then my big win this weekend is I had an out of office on for my birthday, and she'd sent an email out, and then she sent me a personal email because she'd had my out of office and read it and went, just want to say I hope you had a great birthday, Michelle. I'm like, we're like besties now. Besties now. So but amazing lady, and I was very honoured to be featured in her presentation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's incredible. And I suppose it just goes to show the benefits of having you on board. It's because it's like what we were saying earlier, it takes so much to just keep up with all the changes, and obviously social media is something that is, this week is this, next week is that. You just need to keep on top of it consistently. But obviously if you're running a business, if you're concentrating on what your passion is and what you love and delivering your projects, you can't do that and at the same time go to those seminars, go to those training sessions, attend those events. So it's so important that to showcase the true value of having someone like you just working alongside of businesses to really revamp and to really revamp what their potential is, especially on social media, all social media. But talking about that, especially on social media, you also do other things other than social media.
I do.
And you've been working on something very special recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I've had a bit of a passion project going on. So I'm just about to launch my first novel.
Oh my gosh, she's an author as well.
About.
She's an author as well. So multi-award winning. So
travelling all over the place.
See, I do my best work at 35,000 feet. I write really well at 35,000 feet. So I have to keep travelling just to get the novel finished. I have to keep travelling just to finish the work. So
that is just incredible. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
So it's a novel. The main character does work in social media,
of course.
Wow. But
it'd be weird if they didn't. But
However, one of my friends read it, and about a couple of chapters in, she was one of my test readers. And a couple of chapters in, she rang me and she went, "She's you, isn't she?" I'm like, it's going to get really awkward about halfway through the book if you're reading that particular character as me. She went, oh. I went, remove that from your head completely. I said, she does have long blonde hair. She's a lot younger than me, and she owns a big agency that she set up with her friend. She's very different. She just happens to work in social media.
I see.
But I had two... I'm going to leave people to read the book to find out about the first and second chapter. But the first and second chapters were inspired by real events where I had a phone call and I didn't realise who I was talking to. on the other end of the phone. They said, I've been involved with this and I've done this. And I was like, probably a runner, probably a website designer. And then came off the phone and my husband went, no, this is who you were talking to, and showed me them on YouTube. And I went, oh, okay. So not a runner and a website builder. And then, the second chapter, I turned up at the meeting and was thinking I was going to meet the whole company. And they're like, no, actually, we've organised for a private afternoon tea on the terrace for the two of you. Okay, right. And that got me interested in kind of the celebrity X factor, the charisma that certain people have. Yeah. And that then inspired the whole of the rest of the book. So it's a slow burn romance with a twist.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And is this something that you've been working on or thinking about for a long time? Because you said it was a passion project of yours. How long are we talking? What have you written? I'm sure you've written before. Obviously, you do writing for a living.
Yeah.
But how did it come about?
So the characters have probably lived in my head for about 2.5 years. So it's taken about 18 months in total, I think, to write the book. I get very emotionally involved with my characters. And at one point, I had written a really amazing scene for the two of them and then went, they're really happy and things aren't going to go quite so well a bit further down the line, and I don't think I can ruin things just yet. So I had a little bit of a break then. One of the characters I found very difficult to write. He's not a particularly nice piece of work, and that was really hard. There's real tears been shed over chapters in that book. So I have got my heart and soul on the page, but I'm just interested to see where it goes. I have a bit of a motto in life that if you want to do something, you should just grab life by the horns and go out and do it. And the book's something that I've wanted to do for a few years now. So as the characters sort of assembled and the ideas came together, I went, that's it. That's time to get it out on paper. So I just don't sleep, basically. I just work during the day and work all night and have about 2 hours sleep. And my family never see me.
Who needs sleep?
No one needs sleep.
No, look, Michelle, if I read this book and I find out that this not nice guy is actually modelled after me, I'm going to be annoyed. I'm like, actually, I'm spotting some traits here. Oh, I was the inspiration that helped you finish that part. Well, okay, no.
We met relatively recently. The characters have been formed for a long time.
Okay, good.
I think you're safe.
I'll sleep well then. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. But it looks it's interesting because it looks at the smoke and mirrors of social media that we never really know what is going on behind the scenes. And I've had people say that to me before. They're like, we're looking at your social media. I'm like, yeah, but what you see on social media isn't necessarily what's actually the real story going on behind the scenes. So we look at the smoke and mirrors of social media. We look at the smoke and mirrors of celebrity and actually what it's like to be a celebrity and have to deal with that level of fame and attention. And the smoke and mirrors of relationships. And again, what goes on behind closed doors isn't necessarily what people see play out in public.
So that's really interesting. So that smoke and mirrors theme.
Yeah.
You therefore must see it in work that you do. You therefore must... I say must very presumptively, but I imagine there are some stories that you would have from your own experience where here's what I'm doing for this business, but actually what I know is different. That must be fascinating.
It is fascinating. Yeah. I think I'm very careful to work with businesses that have the same values and integrity that I do.
Of course.
So if I'm picking up on vibes of we're going to be doing this on social media, which is very, very different to what is going on in real life, I tend to part ways and say, actually, this is not a project for me to be working on. But it is very interesting. I have some really good NDAs in place, some really good stories to tell.
We'll switch the cameras off later.
Yeah, we've switched the cameras off, Michelle. We're not talking now. We're not talking now.
Now we're offline.
No. So
I promise. That big red recording light is just there for show.
Ignore that light. Ignore that light. So I have had one of my clients, they had Harry Styles. Had a photo shoot at their place. Okay. And I had the day off and my phone was sort of ding, 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 ding. I looked and went, somebody's back catalogue of Harry Styles photos. That's a little bit strange. And then the phone went and they're like, we've just had you out of office, but we need you to put these photos out now because he's just announced Harry's House, the album, and the photos were taken at our place. So can you put those out on social media? Which I did. And they went viral. Yeah. But in all the right ways, because obviously I crafted those posts incredibly carefully. But we then had a lot of the fans picking up and going, well, if you look at this company's website, so I think there's Easter eggs for the album. And I'm like, we're going down quite a dark road here now. But I think having had a One Direction fan in the house from when she was very little to when she was a little bit older, I was like, actually, I've spent a lot of time with her looking at fans' comments and things like that. So I went back and answered them. And we had an email the next day from the management company saying, we're really impressed at how you handle things. I'm like, available for tour, Harry. Just saying. But didn't come to fruition, sadly. No. Family, what family? No, I'm available for tour. Yeah. Not a problem. I can do that.
Everything.
Everything. Yeah. But yes, some really interesting people to have worked with and really interesting stories to tell. But those smoke and mirrors, it's interesting. I think even with your own personal social media, you know what you've got going on personally. Yeah. But you have to present a certain image, a certain kind of, this is what's happening to the world. And people say, I never knew that was going on behind the scenes. I'm like, well, why would you? And it has nothing to do with the business. So it didn't go out on social media.
And is that a theme in the book as well around the flip side of that? So in terms of, I mean, we've spoken about this, right? In terms of having those kinds of moments where you reflect and go, what I'm putting out there it's fine. It might be real, but it is a layer, without the full cake underneath it. And I guess the question I'm asking, I suppose, is when you look the other way, what does that make you think in your role when actually, if you are there to be that layer or enhance it, grow it, etc. Where should we be going? Where should we be looking with our social media to make it authentic but also careful?
I think that's where you look at how much of yourself you really want to share. So I will share certain things within stories, but it's more kind of a come to London with me for the day because I'm going off to a conference. Or it might be I'm having coffee here, but that's because I really believe in supporting local. So I want to actually say I've had a coffee at this local coffee shop. It was amazing because I know I've got a good chance of local followers. So we look at what we're sharing and why we're sharing it. There's other things that I wouldn't put on. So, for example, my Facebook profile is quite locked down. I've got family overseas. I use it to keep in touch with my family overseas. I don't feel potential clients need to see pictures of me and the kids at the cinema doing a selfie. We'll come see Mission Impossible tonight. So that's very locked down, and I'm very considered as to what I would share. Now, some people would say, actually, I'm quite happy to do a selfie of me and the kids at that, but I like to keep that for me. So it's weighing up, what am I happy to share that's going to enhance things and show people enough of my personality in me without giving away like the bathwater with the baby. So I'll give away just enough, but not too much that I feel when I meet people, they're like, I know exactly what you did yesterday. Oh, you were here, you were there. So it's a considered balance.
That's quite a lot of, but that does sound exhausting. I mean, just hearing that, because you're saying that you've got, your Facebook is locked down, your this is doing, you've got this over here, that over there. That's a lot to navigate. I mean, it just feels like that from how you describe it to me.
I guess for me, it's quite compartmentalised because I've always worked like that. So my personal Facebook has always been very locked down. So I know what I put on that. And for me, that's just part of my life now. Fine. That it's set a certain way and the selfies go up of me and the kids and we talk about certain things and people can see that side. Whereas I know what I talk about on LinkedIn. I have 3 different Instagram accounts. So I have my ByJove Instagram account. I've just set up my author Instagram account. And then I have a private Instagram account where that's my love of acrylic jewellery. And again, I don't feel that I need to follow all the different brooch makers on my ByJove account because that's then muddying the waters. So for me, it's just a way of kind of compartmentalising things to go, that's what I do there, that's what I do there, and that's what I do there.
Okay, no, that's a reasonable method to the madness then, because then actually I can see how that is actually helpful. Otherwise, it is a cacophony of noise.
It is. And I think also with me as an individual, some Facebook groups, you can only post in those Facebook groups you as an individual, not you as the business. So if I'm posting in there about ByJove, I have to post as Michelle Betts. People are going to click my name and then they're going to go to my personal profile. All I really want them to see is stuff related to ByJove. So the ByJove stuff is set at a public level and the family stuff is set at a more private level. So if somebody goes, oh, who's this Michelle Betts talking about ByJove? They click over and they're like, that's a really boring personal profile. I'll go and look at her ByJove profile because that's more interesting. Yeah. So I look really dull on Facebook. People are like, oh, she's not very interesting. I'll go and have a look at ByJove. And then there's more interesting stuff over there. Yeah, there's more interesting stuff. There's kind of fun reels and things like that over there. It's like, head over to ByJove. That's much more fun than Michelle. I'm really, really boring. Really, really boring. We'll go and look at Author Michelle. That's more fun.
Author Michelle, fun, yeah. So when's the book coming out? When is that launched?
9th of July.
Oh, very soon.
Very, very soon. It will be on Amazon, so you can quick promo. You'll be able to get it on Kindle. You'll be able to buy the paperback, and you could even go into Waterstones and say, Michelle's written this book. Could we order a copy? And you can order it through Waterstones. So I'm very excited about that. But it's good. We look at celebrity pap walks. There's a bit. We look at trolling and how the trolling's handled. Lots of different things. Set between LA and London. Very exciting.
It's got everything. You managed to squeeze everything into
I have squeezed everything. Yeah, we've got London, we've got LA, we've got celebrity.
Is there a murder mystery somewhere or no?
Not quite. No, that's another book, the murder mystery. I've got a serial killer book coming. Ooh. So which will be completely different genre, but that's all mapped out. I think my husband said I really worry about what goes on in your brain.
Just now, right?
Yeah,
that stuff
before. But I think I came back from the States and I'd put up a social media post saying, "Finished Smoke and Mirrors, 100,000 words done, it's in the bag." Got back and he went, "You're having a little rest before the next one?" I'm like, might be 70,000 words done on the next one, 2 chapters to go. Okay, didn't really sleep in the States then. I'm like, no, I've been really, really busy. Really, really busy.
Where's my coffee, damn it? Where is it?
Yeah. Just intravenously feed the coffee in. Intravenously feed the coffee in. But it's exciting.
It is. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, can't wait for
it. Question, and it might be a tricky one.
Okay.
Are we getting a audible version of it?
So there will be an audio book version of it. I have I've got to look at how I do it because I have some chapters are written from Cass's point of view, the main female character, and some of the chapters are written from Dev's point of view, the male character. But beautifully, I wrote Dev as being Welsh. And now I have to look at, do I have to change the accent? Otherwise, I'm going to have to find somebody with exactly the right Welsh accent to read Dev's chapters. So,
given all the other things you've mentioned, this doesn't sound beyond you.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, I love a bit of the Welsh. I like doing a bit of the Welsh. I love doing a bit of Welsh.
This whole story of Michelle's life writes itself.
I love a bit of Welsh. But I don't think I could really do Dev's Welsh accent because my Welsh accent is not the one that I envisage him having.
Okay.
Or for the audiobook, I will probably have to rejig Dev's accent, I think.
Okay.
So, yes, I did finish it. Why have I written him as Welsh? It makes it much harder for the audiobook. Much, much harder for the audiobook. I'm writing it from a dual point of view that I can't just have one person read the whole book. It needs to switch between the two. The first half is very much her. The second half is much more him. But I will still need two voices for that. So...
it's just funny.
So I might be doing auditions. So if you guys want to have a go at a Welsh accent, yeah, bit of the Welsh.
Can barely put a British accent.
Bit of the Welsh.
Queen's English. I just got it. I just managed it, right? Yeah.
So I might have to have a bit of a rejig, I think, for the audiobook. But yeah, I definitely want to do the audiobook for it.
I mean, that's so exciting, and just the fact that you just go into everything. You try a little bit of everything, and then the passion that you put into all of this, the travelings abroad, the keeping up with social media, the family life, now the book as well. And it's, when someone thinks about writing a book, it's not just writing a book. We know this from a storytelling point of view. There's so much that goes into it. Building the characters, building the story. There's a lot.
I mean, we joked on one of our previous podcast episodes that Philip Waite was trying to take over the world with AI. Michelle's actually trying to take over the world with Michelle. So
I don't know. We got hope and pray that I do sell some books on the 9th of July. So
we sold 2 copies already.
There we go. There we go. I saw my dad at the weekend. He went, "You're going to give me a copy, aren't you?" I went, "No."
What? What the hell?
No. What do you mean you're not giving me a copy?
Here's the Amazon link, buddy. Yeah.
Well, because he lives in the Netherlands. I'm like, if you buy one through Amazon.nl, then happy days. I'm like, global.
Exactly. Yes. Globally recognised author.
I have a friend in America who's going to buy one on Amazon.com and one in Australia. So I'm like, there we go. global sales.
Yeah,
that's a big feather in the cap there.
Yeah, so then it's got to be taking over the solar system, then the universe. So the next mission to the moon is going to carry a copy of the book.
I'm just busy. I think I always look at this whole grabbing life by the horns and doing what you want to do.
Oh, that's inspiring, Michelle, I have to say. Like I love that you live that mantra.
Yes,
very, very obviously and on your sleeve.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that I've really wanted to inspire my kids with that. That you can, if you want to go and travel, go and travel. If there's things that you want to do, go out and do that and make it happen. And even if you can't make it happen quite how you wanted to, there's always going to be another way of making it happen in some way.
Yeah,
exactly.
You don't meet opportunities by not going out there, right?
No. And it is. It's that whole life's too short. Go out, do what you want to do. I think I have it on a coaster that it's buy the tickets, do the stuff, make the memories, and that's the important thing for me is to make those memories. So we've got like an amazing summer coming up. My son's done like an Instagram reel of what we're doing, and I'm like, nice. I can't wait. That looks amazing. I'm like, that's going to be really good. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think it's so important nowadays because it feels like, and I might be completely wrong, it might just be my perspective on and my take on the whole thing, but I feel like the more information we have, the more open everything is as an individual, more closed off you feel from everything else. And to then come across people that are doing that are showing that you actually just need to go do it yourself, get it done, go pursue what you want to pursue and just go. Who cares about what happens next? Just go and do it. And I find that's so important, especially for people that are concerned about what should they do with their life, what should their next step be. Just follow your instinct, just follow what you want to pursue, and you'll always find the way. And obviously, it's so inspiring to hear that, you've got your hands on all these different things and everything is, I'm not saying that this is all perfect and you don't have stress in your life. I'm sure you do.
Coming back to National Pie Day, Michelle's got fingers in all the pies. So, that's what you're going to do.
Fingers in all the pies. Yeah. And that is life isn't perfect. And there's lots going on behind the scenes that people, maybe they have a cup of coffee with me and go, oh, I didn't realise that was going in your life. Yeah. Oh, I didn't realise that was happening. And it's like, well, no, because I haven't shared that bit on social media. I have to keep something back, and I think everybody keeps something back, but you've still got to keep pushing forward and doing the things that you want to do and being inspiring and going, maybe I can't travel the world for 26 weeks of the year, but I could do it for maybe 2 days, or I could go off and do this, and that would be quite fun. How can I shape it to what I want to do? Because you got to do the stuff. You have to do those things.
And as you say, every single one of us is fighting battles that the rest of us can't see.
Yeah.
Right. Every single one of us, and you can either let that dominate your narrative, or actually, hey, no, I'm creating my own story here. I'm in control of that. Nobody else. No one else is going to say, compartmentalize this and tell me I have to feel a certain way about something, or that this career path is the thing that I have to do because X, Y, and Z. I'm not projecting at all here.
Let it all out, Sam. Let it all out.
We got all there. But that's because what you've just demonstrated, Michelle, is how much that then inspires others around you. You're talking about how you want it to be that inspiration for your kids. We're listening to that and thinking, gosh, why isn't everyone doing this? Why isn't everyone doing that? And that's the power that you bring with that philosophy. And I have hats off to you, commend you for that, because it's a wonderful thing to see that you don't often see staring at you in the face. Dare I use that?
Well, I think it's that other thing that I know I said to my daughter a while back, everything happens for a reason. She was on a very defined career path that didn't work out. She's now on a very different career path, but she's absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
And I told you everything happens for a reason. And somebody said, oh, like if you lose a client, are you really upset that you've lost that client? I said, well, yeah, but everything happens for a reason. There's something else that's going to happen.
Yep.
It's made space for something else. So I think you have to go, everything happens for a reason, but I need to make things happen, and I need to push those doors open and keep going with what I'm doing, and just keep traveling and doing what I want.
It's a different spin on what we've been hearing from other on other podcast episodes in a positive way, where people say, hey, look, you don't know
in a completely Michelle, you're completely about the train that's not
what
good.
We're saying is like the things that we've heard purposefully is, hey, look, you don't know what's around the corner.
Yeah,
that can be you don't know what's around the corner and ouch, or you don't know what's around the corner because there could be something super exciting, and you have to be open to that.
Yeah, and it's being open to those things. Yeah. I'm really lucky that I've got a really good support network.
Yeah.
So like my husband Ian is amazing. He does put up with me talking about different things, and we were looking at accents for the book, for example. And I said to him, I said, I woke up in the middle of the night and realised I've really messed up with the whole accent thing there. I went, how long? I said, at what age do you think somebody would lose an accent? And he went, well, I think you could probably use an accent around about age 11. I went, well, that's very specific, isn't it? Age 11. He went, well, I lost my Geordie accent at age 11. Now, we've been together over 20 years. And I went, I never knew you had a Geordie accent up until age 11. He's like, yeah, but he is amazing. He's very supportive with what I do, and I couldn't do a lot of what I do without him. So Wonderful. It's having a really good group of friends and support people and a network as well. And it's having that network to bounce ideas off and talk things through with, and maybe go, I'm not having a great day today, but somebody's always going to give you some support, some help, a different twist on it. And the next day is a different day. Yeah. So,
and you know what? This has happened again, André. It's happened again where a podcast has gone full circle, because everything you said translates exactly into how you go about your social media strategy.
Yeah.
Well done, André. We did it again.
Well done.
Well done, Michelle. We did it.
You did it again. Nicely done. Nicely curved.
Incredible.
Round.
That's incredible. It's and as André, you were saying before, that's a huge value that Michelle brings to her client base, and fantastic. That you know you're going to get that whole experience that you bring from your corporate world, from your life experience, from the philosophy and your mantras, how much that could just this limitless potential for businesses to go, how can we harness that power? How can we use that to materialize our vision? And fantastic. Amazing.
I just love these episodes.
See, I love listening to them.
I love these episodes in a very genuine. I'm out of words.
I'm saying you are lucky that I have voice for this, though, because as I said to you before we started, I was at Robbie Williams over the weekend.
Oh God, yes, yeah.
And there was a lot of singing involved, so my voice is just kind of coming back properly now. It's like, I've got that podcast, and we're all good.
Can I just ask a really weird question about that? Did it finish with Angels?
It did finish.
Oh yes, I'm there with you now, Michelle. I'm there.
Yes. I've seen Robbie a fair few times, and it wouldn't be a Robbie gig if he didn't finish with Angels. It wouldn't be a Robbie gig if he didn't open with Let Me Entertain You.
Of course.
Of course.
And I was just at the Horsham Big Gig at organised by Horsham Sports Club, and headline act Tony is Robbie Williams. Exactly that. I'm just I'm melting. I'm supposed to be taking photos, but I'm melting. I'm just melting. Oh.
No, I love Angels, but he walked off to Angels. So, but he says it's the summer of Britpop, so I'm looking forward to this summer. Yeah, summer of Britpop apparently.
Yes, No, because certain people might have tickets to certain gigs that are coveted. Not saying who or how to reach me to buy them off me. But anyway,
I didn't know about that. Click the link below.
I love that. People are like, how have you got gigs to say? I'm really, really, really quick with things. I think my biggest letdown, though, was my daughter was desperate to go to Taylor Swift. She's like, you always manage to get tickets to everything. She's like, just want tickets to Taylor Swift. Yep. And that was my biggest failure yet. I was signed up to so many lists, Luckily, she had a friend who she'd been really lovely to when they were going through a very difficult time. And the friend went, I've got a spare ticket. Can I take you to Taylor Swift?
Everything happens for a reason, Michelle.
Everything happens for a reason. And I said to Molly, that's Karma. You've been really lovely to her. That's really lovely that she's invited you. And Molly went, there's only one thing, Mum. And I went, what? She went, it's your big birthday, the day of the concert. And I'm like, my actual birthday? She's like, your actual birthday? She went, we've organised to go to London and do everything. That's when I've been given the ticket for Taylor Swift. And she went, but I'm going to say I can't go. And I went, please don't say you can't go, because we can do something else special another day, just the two of us, and celebrate my birthday. You have to go. Because I had a ticket for Robbie at Nebworth years ago, and I wasn't allowed to go. I couldn't go. So I'm like, I don't want you forever thinking
that's
I missed out on that.
Lifelong regret.
I went, that's a lifelong regret not seeing Robbie at Nebworth. go and see Taylor Swift at Wembley. So she went and saw Taylor Swift at Wembley. But yeah, I'm so good at getting tickets for gigs that I end up with 2 sets of tickets for the same person, one on the Wednesday night and one on the Friday night.
Yes.
And your credit card bill comes in, you go, that's a very expensive credit card bill. And you realise,
definitely worth it though.
yeah. So you actually go onto your Ticketmaster account to go, why is my credit card bill so big? There's 2 transactions for the same amount. And you go, I've booked 2 sets of tickets. Clearly, I was a couple of glasses of Prosecco in when they released the extra dates, and I just wandered onto the website. But yeah, really good. They were really good gigs. So good, I went to a third in Barcelona.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. The moral of this story, kids, is never buy concert tickets when you've had a few drinks, because you could end up with more than you bargained for. If you take nothing from the podcast,
don't
other
do
than
most
that,
things when you've had a few drinks, is what I'd say.
Yeah. But no, I'm like merrily going through Ticketmaster. Ooh,
I love that.
extra date, loads of tickets available. I'll have 2 of them. Marvellous.
I'm pretty sure I bought that camera from a few too many drinks, but I need it. I definitely need it, right?
I definitely need that. Definitely need
that.
Right
now. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. And Michelle, one other thing I just want to ask. So you mentioned earlier about you put on so many different hats when you're doing your role. Jousting 1 second, accountant 1 second, chef another. What's been the most either the most impactful business you've worked with in that respect, or the most different, quirky, something that's been really unique that really sticks out in your mind? What's been the biggest thing?
I guess my most unique one is the Loxwood Joust, because I work with the Joust. We've won an award for our content campaigns with the Joust,
good.
I'll just get that in there. Promo.
We did say multi-award winning at the beginning, so
that just covers that off. But they have such a unique voice, such a dedicated following, and having worked with them for, I think I'm my 7th year with them now, watching the festival evolve and grow, and more people come. And it's really unique. There's very few people that you work with that have guys on horses kind of going at each other with very long pointy sticks, and people going at each other in the ring with actual axes and swords and trying to take each other out.
Madness.
That's 3 weekends in a field for me in August doing content, which is a lot of fun.
So do you get yourself into character with like glasses of mead or
Well, the mead is incredibly good. You quite often get people buy 2 bottles of mead at the beginning. We're going to take these home, and then they're back at the mead stall at the end of the day going, we have no mead left. Can we have another 2 bottles to take home? The mead's very good. And the tavern plays bardcore. So I was sitting outside the tavern and I'm like, this really sounds like Mr. Brightside, but not Mr. Brightside. And it's a medieval.
That's really cool.
Yeah, really cool. So the tavern, plays bardcore. So have a look at Spotify bardcore.
That tickles a lot of my. That tickles a lot of things that I'm very interested in. So I had this weird thing of like playing lots of PC games, and there's so many things like Skyrim, The Witcher, all this that have this kind of lore about them. Yeah, and I'm just imagining now that in this playing Mr. Brightside. I think a lot more people need to check this out.
Definitely have a look at the bardcore. So, but it's a very unique event and it's a lot of fun. There's always something going on, whether it's medieval singing or you've got an executioner's talk to go to. You can go and chat to the witch.
Executioner's talk.
Yeah.
So here's how you sharpen the axe, my darling. Is that no?
He has a working.
I don't know why I did that in the East London accent. Sorry.
You're going a bit Sweeney Todd there. A little bit Sweeney Todd. Yeah. But no, he actually has he's got a rack, which is a working replica of the rack in the Tower of London. So he has a model on there, not an actual person, obviously. I'll put that in now. But his talks are phenomenal. So much going on to do that they're an utter joy to work with. And you see those families, those young people going round during the day and really enjoying it. I think we do something called the meat grinder, which is where they put 60 people in armour with their own individual weapons in the arena, and it's last man standing. So these guys are in very, very heavy metal armour with axes and swords charging at each other because they want to be the last man standing. And before they started, I was sitting in the crowd because I was getting sort of a crowd perspective. There was probably a 6-year-old sitting next to me and his mum and dad, and they're like, so what happens in this? Because they're watching all these people coming into the arena. So I explained the concept of the meat grinder. This little 6-year-old, you get him, like he got so into it, and you're watching the whole crowd, the little tiny kids like, you get him, and they're like cheering as they hit the deck. You're like, the crowd really gets into that one. It's quite exciting. So yes, they're probably my most fun and exciting one to work with because it's so diverse. But it's literally a year-round thing. So, and then it's become a family affair because my daughter worked there.
Brilliant.
My son's working there this summer. So, and it's a lovely crew to work with as well. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Wow.
You're exhausted now, aren't you? Just thinking about that meat grinder. Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking I would have put the 6-year-old in it, you know. If you're that into it.
He was really.
He do something. He kneecapped some people quite easily, right?
Well, we have sword school and night school, so the kids get to go into sword school and night school, which is always entertaining.
Excellent.
So yeah.
I need to sign up for that.
Yeah,
I want 100%. Sign the kids up.
You can do grown up, sword school and night school, so you can do blacksmithing, no end of different things, or just come and drink mead and enjoy the bardcore.
I think that's probably
I'll start with that.
Yeah.
But actually, no, if I start with that,
maybe start with the sword and end with the mead and the bardcore.
Yeah, the other way around would get awful.
The other way around could be really bad.
I'm not sure my family could afford the bail, but yeah, so.
But no, that's fun content to be doing. That's
fantastic.
Very fun content to be doing. But I think you can make any content fun and enjoyable. It's just finding that angle and that twist.
And the voice and everything.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
brilliant.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Michelle, thank you so much for coming on. It's been interesting, engaging, inspiring to have you on board talking to us today.
It has been an education.
It actually has been like a roller coaster of emotions.
You're tired now, aren't you?
No, I've got the sweat patch over here. I've got the dry, salty tear on the right.
And I feel like I can't complain to Ellie anymore about everything that I'm doing because it's just nothing compared to.
Oh God, yes!
How dare you?
This is how we said at the beginning. Michelle can sabotage us by just closing all of our accounts, being the most influential woman in the UK in social media. But actually, what she's doing is destroying any credibility we have with anything. Where we say, "Just guys, I'm just a bit too tired today to do that. I've got too much on my plate. I can't. Sorry, I can't take that on." Michelle, I'm not going to thank you for that. No,
I do have a secret though, that if I have to really focus on something, so sometimes I'll be, do you know what, I really want to do the book, but actually I should really be doing some work.
Yeah.
I have some candles that are 30-minute timer candles. Oh, okay. So I put a 30-minute timer candle on, do the passion project, and then go back to what I'm meant to be doing.
But how are you held to that though? Like, surely if the candle just burns out, you can just carry on doing what you're doing.
You could, but you have to be disciplined. You have to go when that candle burns out, and you just watch it go. That's it. The passion project has to go away.
If it threatens to maybe set your house on fire unless you did,
then you're kind of like, that would bring an extra dimension. Maybe I should suggest that to the people that do the candles.
Please credit me with the idea if you
I will. You need candles where it's going to burn the house down if you don't start doing what you're meant to do.
Limited.
I love that.
Wonderful.
No, so I'm very good at focusing on different things, and if I really need to focus, those 30-minute timer candles are around.
And what's the best way that we can, or anyone who's listening can get hold of you, learn more? Where should they go?
So you can go to the website, byjovemedia.co.uk, or probably Instagram's probably one of the best places to follow me, ByJove Media, because I will always put up, if something's changed on social media, I've normally had several phone calls going, in the Power Hour, you showed us that button and it was a really useful...
Where's the button?
Exactly. As soon as I get 3 of the where's the button calls, that social media post goes up because I know loads of people are going to be sitting there going, where's the button?
So well worth just giving a follow for that, really.
Just follow me, just for the where's the button. Yeah, just for the where's the button.
Where's the button?
Excellent.
Yeah.
And if they want to book things, like André, you were alluding to earlier, if you want to book things like Power Hours, that sort of thing.
Best thing to email me, Michelle@byjovemedia.co.uk. Yeah.
Very nice.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a privilege to speak to you. And looking forward to the edit.
Good luck with that one.
Yes, that's going to keep me up for several days. Good.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Thanks,
guys. Well done. Excellent.
Thank you.